Hello students, today let's see our 13th chapter, that is A Shelter So High. In this chapter we are going to see about the journey, a trip of a man, that is none other than Gaurav Jani, and with his lovely motorbike, that is Loner. So let's start today's chapter. A Traveler's Tale. Gaurav Jani and his motorcycle, which he calls Loner, decided to go on a true 2 months trip to get away from the busy, crowded and noisy city of Mumbai. As they live in Mumbai, there regularly they see all the houses which are made up of bricks, cement and all, and so much noise is there, so they got exhausted from the city life and decided to go on a trip. For that he packed a small nylon tent, this one, a sleeping bag, plastic sheets, some warm clothes, food that remained fresh for some days, extra cans of petrol and his camera. All of these things he had loaded on his Loner and started his trip. It took 3 days to cover from Mumbai to Delhi. From Maharashtra, Mumbai, he went to Delhi, passing through Gujarat and Rajasthan, and it is about 1400 kilometers away, which took him 3 days to cover on his motorbike. But when he reached Delhi, he saw the same kind of houses made of cement, bricks, glass and steel. So he was not very excited, and seeing the same thing, he continued his journey, and in 2 days he reached to Manali. They had to travel through difficult roads of the state of Jammu and Kashmir to reach Leh in Ladakh. From Manali, they continued their journey and ultimately they reached Leh, which is in Ladakh. They reached Leh in Ladakh. Ladakh is actually a cold desert. This cold desert is a high, dry and flat area. Ladakh gets very little rainfall. There are high snow-capped mountains and a cold, flat ground. That is why, due to the snow, there are not much vegetation and hence it is a cold desert. At home with Tashi. There he saw some children, and one is Tashi, who dragged Gaurav to his house, and he saw that it was a building with 2 floors and a flat roof. The house was made of stones which were kept one over the other. The walls were coated with a thick layer of mud and lime. The family lived in the first floor, and the ground floor is for the animals and for storing necessary things. The ground floor has no windows, and thick tree trunks were used to make the roof strong. That is why whenever it is very cold and windy, the family also go to the ground floor and stay there so that they can stay warm. On the flat roofs, red chilies, orange pumpkins, golden yellow corns, stacks of paddy and cow dung cakes were laid out to dry. As you can see in the picture, these are all laid on the flat roof to dry under the sunlight. Why they do so? During summer season, they dry many fruits and vegetables so that they can be stored for winter. As during the winter it snows heavily, and due to that the vegetation, the fruits and vegetables cannot grow there. So they dry them during the summer so that they will be available during the winter also. Every part of the house is built especially to suit the needs of the people. Here you can see the houses made up of stones, mud. This block the wind from entering into the houses. These flat roofs are easy for them to dry these fruits and vegetables which can be stored or kept for the winter. People living on top of the world. Then Gaurav and his bike loaner started to climb higher towards the rocky plains of Changthang. The roads were zigzag along narrow mountain roads. At many places there were no roads at all. Changthang is at a height of almost 5,000 meters. It is so high that it is difficult to breathe normally due to low level of oxygen. So some people carry oxygen tanks while climbing high altitudes. You see children, whenever you will climb up the mountains or climb up the altitude, the level of oxygen decreases, and due to that the oxygen is not available enough for us. That is why whenever you will climb a mountain, there you will feel breathlessness. That means you will start breathing very rapidly, and in severe cases you might have headache. You will feel a fullness of chest where you will get breathlessness. It will be difficult for you to breathe, and also some may become unconscious. That is why when people climb up the mountains, they usually carry an oxygen tank which helps them in breathing. But if you will stay there for some time, after few days your body will get acclimatized to it, and you will be able to breathe normally. So if the question comes, why mountaineers carry oxygen tank on their back while climbing mountains, the reason is because on high altitudes the level of oxygen is low, so they do not get enough oxygen. The Changpas. Changpa is a tribe living on the mountains. The Changpa tribe has only about 5,000 people. They are always on the move with their goats and sheep. It is from this that they get all that they need: milk, meat, skin for tents, and wool for coats and sweaters. All of these requirements are fulfilled from these goats and sheep. Their goats are their only treasure. The family with more animals is considered more rich and important. From these special goats, they get wool for making the world famous pashmina wool. Pashmina wool is actually a very soft wool, and the soft and fine pashmina shawls made from this wool are very costly also. They are very high priced and valuable, and they keep you very warm. The Changpa graze their goats at higher and colder places so that the goats have more and softer hair. As you go high up the altitude, in higher places the temperature is also low, so it will get more cold, and due to this cold the goats produce more softer hair, which is used to make pashmina shawls. The Changpas carry everything that they own on their horses and yak. As you can see in the picture, they are loaded with the luggages. It takes them only 2.5 hours to pack everything and move ahead. As they do not get settled at one place, and they keep on changing their houses from place to place, they are called nomads. Nomads are those people who do not settle at a permanent place. After some days they will keep on moving. Now one of the reasons why the Changpas have to move continuously is that the availability of grasses for their goats and sheep to graze. If the grasses are finished, they will continue and move on to a new place. They live in a big cone-shaped tent called ribo. Here you can see this tent where they live is called a ribo, and it can be as big as a room. You can see it is very big as compared to Gaurav Jani's tent, and these are held by two wooden poles in the middle. It has an opening to let out the smoke from the chulha. Ribo is made by weaving yak hair to make strips which are stitched together. As you will see clearly, try to notice. If you will see closely, these are made up of yak hairs which are made into strips. These strips are tightly tied with 9 sticks. Here can you see the sticks? These sticks are used to keep the tent erect. These are strong, warm, and protect them from the icy strong winds. This ribo protects them from icy strong winds. To erect the tent, to set up the tent, the ground is first dig up to 2 feet deep. The tent is then put up around this on the higher part of the ground. The design of the tent is actually more than 1,000 years old. Here, Ribo, near Ribo, there is a place for keeping sheep and goats called lekha. Here can you see, this is a lekha. The walls of lekha are made with stones. As you can see in the picture, these are actually made up of stones, and this is the home for the sheep and goats near the ribo. Each family puts a special mark on their animals so they can identify their animals easily. The women and young girls count and take the animals out of the lekha for grazing, and during the evening time they will again bring them back and put them under the lekha again. After they spent few days with the Changpas, while returning they took a different route from Leh and went towards Srinagar via Kargil. In Srinagar, the houses are very beautiful. Some houses are on the mountains while some are on water, and they are called houseboats and dongas. People use shikara, which is a long boat, for getting back and forth from the houseboats for daily travel or for boating tours or rides. Many people used to stay in these houseboats, which can be very big, and tourists love to stay in the houseboats whenever they go to Srinagar. Whenever they visit Srinagar, they love to go and see and stay on these houseboats, and these small boats called shikara is used to travel from the land, from the coast, from the bank to reach these houseboats, and to for their daily travels also they use these small boats called shikara. Every lane in Kashmir has a bakery. People there don't cook rotis in their homes, and they buy it from such bakeries. Here can you see different types of breads are available here. Breads or rotis are actually bought from these bakeries by most of the people. Here you see some different types of houses. These are called pakka houses, which are made up of cement, brick, steel, glass. Kacha houses, which are made up of hay, straws, then bamboos, mud. These are tent. These are caravan, which is actually on a vehicle and they can move from one place to another. Houseboats, which we have discussed just now, and igloo. Igloo is mainly made up of ice, as you can see, and it is used, or it is usually made by people who live in very cold areas. So here we have come to the end of our chapter. I hope that you have understood this chapter properly. If you have any problem, I would like to ask you to go through your textbook and you will understand it better. For now, thank you.